Welcome to this little mini webinar. My name is Adam Dowd. If you haven't met me, I am the Director of Rowdy Digital, and we run a social media marketing service for real estate agents called The Social Agent. So I'm going to keep this as brief as I can. But what I want to talk about here today is seller lead ad campaigns, because there's a few common issues that I see, and I just thought it might be beneficial to go through these. So in the interest of keeping this short, let's jump straight into it. Just to firstly cover a few things. So some common lead gen problems for real estate is obviously the first one is you're not getting any leads. In my opinion, the issue with that is that your offer is not exciting or unique enough. And I'm going to talk more about offers and angles in a second. So let that just sit for a moment. But another issue is you're not getting amazing quality leads on day one. Now, I have to say on that one, ads are not little miracles. It does take some time for data to be collected and to come to you with social media advertising. Sometimes there's flukes for sure, and there are leads coming in straight away, but sometimes it takes a few days. So generally for the style of lead gen ads that we run, well, for most ads on social media, you have to give it sort of 3 to 4 days, depending on what budget you're using. But 3 to 4 days is a good start to let the ads sort of, I don't know what the correct phrase is, but kind of settle down and start producing some repeatable results. So generally they won't, be firing straight away, straight out of the gate. They do take a little bit of time. And then the other problem sometimes is that on some days you're getting leads and on other days you don't. And it's, a bit of feast or famine, up and down. To be honest with you, I probably would refer that again back to the offer issue. So having said that, let's talk a little bit about some concepts and misconceptions. And the first one is that angle or offer that you're going to hear me mention quite a lot in this video. This is what we're going out to the marketplace with. So it's what we're offering your audience in your local market, suburb, area, whatever you call it. It's the angle or the offer. It's what you're offering to do for people in return for contact details, because we're doing lead generation. So there's an exchange, but you want their contact information and an opportunity to talk with them. So therefore we need to give them something in return for that. Now, the reality of ads is that we need to do testing. There has to be testing. I think with my own personal ads, at any one time, I can have somewhere from 10 to 20 different ads. And great advertisers, or people that seem to make advertising work, is because they test more. Like, it's as simple as that. We can always put our best foot forward to see to sort of use what we think is going to work. But what you or I think is really irrelevant to an extent. We need to, again, get data, and we need to see how the audience is reacting to what we're putting out there. So if you only put one thing out there, sure, we're going to get data on it, but it's different to if you put 3 or 10 things out there, and you can really make some comparisons there between, these ones are outperforming those ones. Let's do more of that. Let's do less of the ones that are not performing. Another thing is that what works in one area or local market is not necessarily going to work in another. Again, we put our best foot forward with our clients and sort of can make recommendations, but there's always different people, there's different demographics. And again, that's why we have to test these things to see what works with your specific local market. And lastly, what doesn't work offline is likely not going to work online. So, for instance, if you were to approach a stranger in the street in your local area and say to them, hey, can I give you a free valuation on your home? I don't think they're going to take you up on that. Similarly, if we go on social media into people's news feeds and say to them, hey, do you want a free market appraisal? It doesn't work very well. So what doesn't work offline is not going to miraculously work using digital or social media marketing either. So how are we going to get seller leads approaching you so that you can begin a conversation with them, using their contact information that they've willingly handed over to you? Here's some generic versions of some angles and offers that we often use. And I want to highlight the fact that this is generic. So I'm going to run through these pretty quickly. You can promote a recent sale or a result that you achieved for a previous vendor or seller. You can provide a market update. You can offer an appraisal. You can show client testimonials, whether that be written or video form. We can offer some sort of seller or buyer guide. Well, okay, this is for seller leads, so specifically a seller guide as a download. We can offer a desktop appraisal, or we can offer to provide them with some area statistics report or some sort of data that is not freely available online and that generally an agent only has access to, so therefore is valuable to a potential seller. That's the boring version. Let's talk about a unique, or I'm going to call it a fancy version. So I'm going to run through a few of these and they kind of align with the first point. So instead of saying, I made this recent sale in XYZ Street, how I got the Smith family 40K over the asking price. Instead of a market update, Peter's property pulse, what happened in Hawthorne in Q1? I don't know who Peter is, but it's just examples, okay? An appraisal offer, a coffee and a curbside chat with Chris. Client testimonial. Oh, shucks, this one made me blush. A seller guide or a seller guide download, exclusive. This checklist will save sellers thousands. Or, for instance, a desktop appraisal. The value of your home today, direct to your phone now. So, look, especially if you're in Australia or New Zealand, we are generally not comfortable or known for, outlandish or overt styles of marketing. So I'm not sort of saying that you have to, stand on a rooftop and yell to the world about how good you are, or start using some sort of sensationalized marketing speak. But we do have to promote you, and we do have to promote your business and what you're able to do for people. You should do that in a way that you're comfortable with. But we need to do it. Like, you need to talk about it and we need to put it out on social media so that people know about it. Otherwise, how are people going to know? I draw the comparison with like the American market, where I think they have a much more congested marketplace, and therefore, the marketing and the claims have to be a little bit more sensationalized in order to grab that attention. At the end of the day, we need to do what we're comfortable with, but we do have to be unique and promote our business. So I guess what I'm trying to put forward to you here is a different way of thinking about these things. Like, the end result is, you are talking about a recent sale, or you are going to give a market update, or you are going to go over to their property and give them a market appraisal. But let's not go out with that initial, I guess, starting point. Like, some of these, especially in appraisal, for instance, it can be quite intimidating for some people. Like, you need to go into their home, you need to be there for 20, 30 minutes or whatever it is. Some people don't like that. So it's like, that's a couple of steps down the path. Like, I always like the analogy, let's date before we get married. So if we draw the comparison here, a coffee and a curbside chat. So all we're saying there is, hey, the agent can bring them a coffee, you can have a chat at the front of their home. If you're any good, I guess, as an agent at what you're doing, and your skill and expertise and personality is taking over, generally the property owner is probably going to invite you in to show you the property. But can you see how, rather than going out there into the marketplace on social media in news feeds with a direct appraisal offer versus, hey, can I bring you a coffee and we can have a chat at the front of your home, is so vastly different? The end result, in theory, should be the same. But we've got to get that foot in the door first. We have to date before we can get married. And so just on that, I want to sort of highlight this as a bit of a mindset shift, especially when we're using social media advertising to grow the business, to get more listings and ultimately sales. Ads are not intended to make listings rain from the sky. Sounds great. Some marketers will promise it, false promises. But that is not the intention of ads. Ads are intended to start a conversation with people who have demonstrated intent. Obviously, we don't want to start conversations with just everybody and anybody. And that's why we're going out in the marketplace with things like this, things that are going to let people self-identify as considering selling their property, because they're the people that you want to talk to, right? But your skill and your personality need to take over and develop that relationship and develop that conversation. The ads are intended to start that conversation, to get that foot in the door with more people than you're able to just by, talking to people on a daily basis, because we can reach more people obviously using social media. But the misconception that ads are going to you're going to have people calling you saying, I want to list my property with you. It's just not a reality, unfortunately. So if you look at your ads with a view that, okay, the point of these ads is to get people to reach out, to put their hand up so that I can have a conversation with them, then these sorts of things that I've been describing to you here, some different, unique, maybe even a little bit weird, but a bit strange. These are the sorts of things that are going to stop people in their newsfeed going, I haven't seen that before. What is this? Let me look into a bit more. That's what we want to achieve. Now, what's important in an ad in order? I thought this was relevant, rather than just going off and starting to go, I need to put some ads up to talk about my new curbside chat idea or whatever it may be. I just want to run through this quickly. The angle or the offer, in my experience, after 6-7 years now of advertising, is the most important thing. You can have fantastic photography, some really well-written words, but if you're going to offer a market appraisal, it's just going to fall on deaf ears because everyone's seen it before. So it's the most important thing. And that's why I believe it warrants the most consideration and the most, I guess, brain power from you in terms of, your thought and consideration into what to offer here. The image or the video, if you choose to, which is what we call the creative, is second most important because it's the thing that will stop people scrolling in their newsfeed. That's the initial thing that people see when they're mindlessly, zombie-like scrolling through their news feeds. The words, or what we call the copy, is the next most important because it explains what you're doing for people. It explains what the offer is. And hopefully with enough, I guess, intrigue, it will convince the person to take the next step, whatever it is that you want them to take. Generally, using social media, we want them to click or we want them to complete contact information. Note, I didn't say we want them to call you to list their property with you. We want them to call you to list their property with you. That's like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 steps down the road. What we're trying to do with the ad is to get the click, get the information. And lastly, the least important is the audience selection, even more so with the real estate agents, because the audience is the audience. Like, you only want to advertise to a specific geographical area. We may put some age restrictions in there, but like, you're not going to be able to use some tricky sort of targeting to find people that are looking to sell their property. It's just not possible. So generally, the audience selection is your local market, and the ads, the angle and the offer is what's going to get people to identify themselves as being interested in selling. So lastly, how do we do this? So I don't just want to share this with you and then say, good luck. So this is my suggestion for how you can do this yourself. Brainstorm 2 to 3 different angles. So have a look at what we spoke about, have a think about this, use some of these if you want to. Like, a recent sale or a result is a great example, and many agents will have this at their hands. Maybe you sold the property quickly because the family had to move interstate due to a sick relative, but something along those lines. Maybe it's just not purely financial. Maybe there's some sort of other motivator that other people are going to relate to and therefore want the same result. Talk about that. Oops, sorry, I skipped ahead. So we need 2 or 3 different angles or offers that you're willing to test, that you think your local market will react to. Obviously, it has to align with your personality, and this is why within our service we don't. We provide the guidance, but we're not saying to agents, "Hey, you must do this." because it needs to come from the agent. You need to be obviously willing to do what it is that you're offering, and it has to align with your personality. And again, you know your local market best. You know what people may enjoy or react to, or what they may not. Think of some photos that you can take to support each of these angles or offers. Just use your phone. Don't overthink it. I like to use a one-take rule, especially with video, because I really hate doing video, but I always have this rule, which is like, I'm only going to do this in one take. I'm only going to do this once. If I make mistakes, if it's not perfect, it doesn't matter. I need to get it up and running. So don't overthink it, have fun with it. And, you know, if you're offering a coffee, just take a photo of yourself with a coffee, or like a photo of yourself, a selfie with yourself at the local coffee shop in front of the coffee machine, thumbs up, or something like that. People will relate to the ads showing things that they can relate to. So, you know, can the majority of the population that you're in relate to you dressed nicely in your suit or whatever it may be, in your work attire? Or will they react better to a photo of you walking the dog, having a coffee, a drink at a local pub, something like that? Write down your ad copy and headlines to support each of the angles or the offers that you choose. The format is like this, remember, and we've got guidance on this in our client portal, but if you're just watching this and you're not a member, the format needs to be something like this. So A and B are in the text above the photo or the image in the ad, and the headline is below the image. The opening statement, this is the one that's visible when people are scrolling, so it needs to be attention grabbing. You need to call out your local market, or you can say something to command attention, whether it's you're being intriguing or a bit controversial or somewhat opinionated, divisive, something that people will react to. Like, it's okay to be a little bit divisive, because it's going to get people to react. That's what we want. The body text, which is beneath this opening statement, you need to explain a little bit further about what your angle or offer is. Like, hopefully it's not complicated to explain. Like, if you're offering a coffee, say, you know, register your details, I'll bring you a coffee and we'll have a chat. Like, it's simple. Or register your details, I'll contact you to arrange a time so that I can bring you a coffee and we can have a chat. That's it. And the ad headline, remember, that's the one below the image. Put some sort of benefit statement. What are they going to get out of this? Or you could tell them specifically what you want them to do. Click here to register your interest. Click here to register your details. Click here to leave me a message, whatever it might be. And then you need to go ahead and test these different angles and offers and see which outperforms the others. Now, when you've got multiples, like multiple different angles or offers, you're in a position then to read data and to see which one is outperforming the other. Or put another way, which one your local market is reacting to better than the others. Like, you might think option, offer angle number 1 is going to be the winner. I can't tell you how many times though we'll run the ads and like, actually it's option number 3. So that's why I say, like, what I think or what you think, not to be dismissive, but it's kind of irrelevant. What the audience reacts to is what is highly relevant, of course. So look, I hope that's helpful, and I hope that's encouraging you to think about these seller lead campaigns, and specifically the angles and the offers that we're going out in the marketplace with slightly differently, in a different way, in a unique way. And obviously, if you're a client of the Social Agent already, we're going to jump on the phone and we can brainstorm together if you want. If you're not, I've just got this quick slide here that I wanted to explain what it is that we're doing and how we're doing it differently. So this is a done-for-you service, and we're providing you with the expert guidance similar to this, and we're running your ads for you. So it's unlimited campaigns. We're promoting whatever is happening in your business. You obviously have to tell us what's happening in your business, but we're running all the back-end stuff for you. We encourage our agents to come up with the angles and offers similar to what we've been talking about in this video, because you are best placed to communicate with your local market. You know the people best. You know their pains. You know what's going on in that local area the best. In doing it this way, which is different to most agencies, we've managed to reduce our fees significantly, and all the while because these angle and offers, which is the consumer facing stuff that people are seeing in their news feeds, is coming from you, we're actually getting better quality ads. We get your ad campaigns up and running in 24 hours or less. And like I said, it's at a fraction of the cost. Now, this is just so I don't forget in the last part of this video, but I will put a link below this video wherever you're seeing it, and you'll be able to check out more about the Social Agent if you so wish. So that's about it from me. I hope that you found this helpful, and if you do have any questions and you are a member of the Social Agent, please feel free to get in touch. You know how to get in touch. And if you're not, click the link below this video, and you'll have an opportunity to speak further with me. Anyway, thank you for watching. All the best, and I'll talk to you soon.